This is the J Pitt Show. Anyway, I think what we're going to do today is we're going to start with a buy, sell, hold. It's been something that has been quite popular the last couple of episodes that we've done. So we're going to go buy, sell, hold with maybe a bonus. So first up, this is from an account, John Brooks. I don't even know who John Brooks is. Looks like 18,000 followers, writes a Substack newsletter, etc. 71.1% of real estate agents did not sell a home in 2025. What will that percentage be for 2026? Which we'll entertain a guess, and then obviously I want to hear a buy, sell, or hold from you on that. Do we want to buy, sell, hold immediately, or do we want to read all tweets? I think last week you wanted to buy, sell, or hold on the spot.
I say we still do that.
Okay.
I'm not even really sure what's in these other ones, but that's okay. I think it gives you a more true,
reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So buy, sell, hold. 71.1% of realtors did not, or real estate agents, it should say. It probably means realtors, but 71.1% of realtors did not sell a single home in 2025.
Yeah.
Buy, sell, or hold.
I will buy timidly.
Timidly buy. Okay.
And
why timidly?
The biggest reason is I think, there's a lot of different kind of real estate agents. What I mean by that is some are, or most are part of the National Association of Realtors. You have some that aren't. I think you have a lot of people that don't do it full time. You have some people that just have it because they're investors. I think if you took true full-time real estate agents that are, it's their career, that number is going to be significantly less. But, and I don't really know where they pull this number from, but I would bet it's pretty close. If you take everybody with a real estate license in the country, I wouldn't be shocked to hear that 7 out of 10 don't sell a home in a year. This is definitely not typical for our market.
No. Well, I mean, generally speaking, Ryan, it is true that the majority of homes sold are sold by a very small percentage of real estate agents. So, one of the stats that is kind of readily quoted, I don't remember off the top of my head the exact number, but the general average number of homes sold by a realtor is like 6 or something. I think
it's like 6 or 7 point. I remember like 7.1 for some reason.
Yeah, it's like shockingly low, and no way that you could live a great life or even, meet your obligations with that.
Depending on your market.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sell, if you're in a very luxury market, if you sell 7 homes that are all over $1 million,
Yeah. So you could. But those people are, if you're dealing in that kind of inventory and that kind of clientele, then typically the unit sales being low is a function of choice, not necessity, but that's neither here nor there. What I do have, median homes sold in 2025 were 9 transaction sides for the NAR. I have seen a graph going around, what percentage selling 0. I don't know that answer. I'm going to buy as well. It would not surprise me to hear that 71% did not, of licensees, of even NAR members, did not sell a home for the exact reason you said. There are a number of individuals nearing retirement. The average age of a realtor is substantially older than one would expect, at least if you're not attached to the industry. So some of those have slowed down quite a bit. There's a rush to get a license around COVID because of the activity.
I'm thinking whenever I reach retirement or thinking about it, I'll probably keep my license and refer whatever I can out to people.
Yeah. I would say, basically, oh, hilarious. Okay. So I just had put it in Chat GPT while we were sitting here. We are both woefully inaccurate, woefully incorrect. According to NAR 2026 member profile, which measures realtors' production for the calendar year of 2025, 6% of realtors did 0 residential transaction sides, 30% 1 to 5 sides, 23% 6 to 10, 17% 11 to 15, 8% 16 to 20, 15% 21 to 50, and 2% north of 51 units. 36% of realtors, therefore, have done 5 or less, only 6 being 0. It goes further. Claims floating around that 50 to 70% of realtors generally refer to different data sets, definitions, or are simply misattributed to NAR. NAR itself has recently pushed back on a viral claim stating that 71% of realtors close 0 transactions. And it goes on to, the way chat does, ask a question to go into a deeper dive. So we both bought and we were both wrong.
I was timid.
You were timid. I bought because you bought. I'm going to blame it on you.
That's fine.
All right. Number 2. U.S. pending home sales plunge back to near record lows in July of 2026. This is by Zero Hedge, which I think we've quoted them before. It's just like kind of a news aggregator type X account. The graph that shows references zerohedge.com, so I don't know what information
Very
source
erotic
they're
profile
using.
picture, I gotta say.
Oh, do you know what that profile picture is?
No.
Okay, Hannah, do you know? Okay, that's a pop culture reference is the only reason why I ask. If you look at Zero Hedge's profile photo, so it's this. Do you know what it is, Ryan? Might give you an up close view. That's Brad Pitt. That's Brad Pitt from Fight Club.
Gotcha.
It's Brad Pitt from Fight Club. What was his character's name? I'll think of it here in a minute. Sorry, I know what Brad Pitt looks like, shirtless. Ryan, buy, sell, or hold. You can't buy. So are we selling or holding that U.S. pending home sales plunge back to near record lows in July?
I'm gonna hold
Okay.
that right now. We just had a meeting before this, and it does seem like maybe the market slowed a little bit. It's hard to tell right now.
Yeah.
And it really comes back a lot of times. Like, do I look at this chart or data set for what it is? Like, do we know it's accurate? If I look at it for, what the lines on the graph say, like, probably it's a buy.
Right.
I think there's a lot of manipulation that goes on with real estate data,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
agree.
and it's very local too.
100%.
So for our market, I'm gonna put it in that. What I say?
You said hold.
Hold. Yeah.
Because you already bought. You already bought, so you can't buy.
Just so hold to see.
Okay, so I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell because the devil's in the details. Number 1, let's start with the actual wording of the tweet. U.S. pending home sales. U.S. is painfully vague to look at the United States as a whole. I don't need to tell you that we're a very diverse country in terms of geography, in terms of population density. I mean, everything under the sun exists in the country. So we can't compare, Butte, Montana to Manhattan, right? So it's painfully vague. 2, you have to define pending. Okay, pending for generic use within the residential real estate space means a transaction is processing in some way, shape, or form. We go further to here locally and state active under contract versus pending. Pending in that sense, more specifically, means a home that is under contract, that has gone through inspections and released all but financing contingency typically, and is proceeding towards a closing with a high level of reliability. Is that what they mean? I don't think so. I don't know what they mean. So for that reason, I'm going to sell. Also, plunge needlessly like severe. Near record lows. You're saying a whole lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
What is the record low? You're not telling us. The graph is illegible. It clicks out to a website that has like 8 pop-ups before you can even read the article if you have a subscription. So I'm going to say sell on that basis as well. Also, Ryan, like you said, locally, what I know is that 2/3 of all listings on the Louisville MLS are under contract. Okay. So roughly 15% of inventory, we just did this in a meeting just prior to this, 15% of listings are not selling at all, but a healthy demand is present. I will agree and acknowledge that in several markets around the country, particularly the most recent boom markets from 21, 22, 23, have seen substantial slowdowns, increased inventory, reduced sales. My team, though, had record number of units sold, pending, excuse me, our pending AUC under contract, record number of units under contract in May of this year, record volume in June of this year, record closings in July of this year. So it's a pretty good market. We're ahead of production volume wise ever. It's our best year ever for volume. So I have to sell for all those reasons.
Yeah. So we had a lot of the similar reasons. Just
Yeah, I'm
chose.
just going a little. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm a little less timid on this one than you are. You're kind of taking more of a wait and see. All right. Lastly, this is an interesting one that I added last second, and this is a random iced coffee hour. The ICH podcast. Graham Stephan and Jack Selby listen now. Okay, I don't know who this is, but they've got 28,000 followers, and they say Cody Sanchez, I don't know who the hell that is, co-host of the podcast, says a $400,000 rental. This is a hypothetical. $400,000 rental nets the average landlord just $167 a month. Has the head exploding emoji. Is real estate overrated? It's a great way, quote, it's a great way to lower your taxes and preserve wealth. It's an awful way to actually make money. Quote, you could be getting 100,000 plus, I'm assuming annually, from a business instead.
Okay.
Buy, sell, or hold.
Well, I only have sell left.
Okay.
I think that's probably where I would have gone with this one anyways.
Okay.
Just looking, make $167 a month. Once again, I think that's probably maybe at the average for the U.S., I would have to assume. I think there's different markets where you can do substantially better than that.
Yeah.
I think they're also missing the part where, real estate does appreciate historically. A lot of people say, why would you buy a $400,000 house when you could put, let's say you're putting 20% down, you could put $80,000 into the stock market and earn 7 to 10% annually. Well, what they forget is you're putting $80,000 down, but you're earning appreciation on a $400,000 asset.
Exactly.
So I think they're missing a big point there. Obviously, rentals, if it's multifamily, the appreciation on those look a little different than appreciation for single family homes, because that appreciation has a lot of times to do with where rental rates at and where are those going to. I think you are kind of handcuffed to that in a sense. So that's a perfect reason to sell right there.
Yeah.
I do think it's a great way to lower your taxes and preserve wealth, though. I mean, I would buy that part of what they said, but I think the first part of this, tweet alone is a reason to sell it.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold. That's all I got left. But for similar reasons, I will say, I think again, the devil's in the details. I will tell you that if you can buy a $400,000 asset with $80,000 out of pocket, right, in a down payment, and have $167 per month in positive cash flow, meaning that your expenses are covered plus $167 a month, and you get the 6 to 10% a year in average appreciation on the $400,000 asset, meaning it goes up potentially up to $40,000 a year in value. Then I want all of those that you can find me everywhere, right? Because the truth is, real estate, and if you just scroll, if you go to the actual tweet and scroll down in the comments, everyone says the same things. It's an unbelievable store of wealth. Yes, as you said, it's a great way to lower taxes and preserve wealth. But you're not going to make money. Well, there's a lot less risk in owning real estate than there is in owning a business as well. Okay. Also, the volatility and the value of the business is in its income. Okay. So if it's kind of a very self-serving argument, right? Businesses are better because they make more money. Well, yeah, but the value only exists if the business makes money. The value of the real estate exists whether it produces income or not. So, for the same reasons I always want to tell you to own real estate, it's a great store of wealth. It's tax advantaged. There is a limited supply. It tends to go up in value. It is, you know, able to be sold and transferred. It is, you know, relatively transferable. It is not a dead asset. I'm not against owning businesses. In fact, I think going forward, owning certain types of businesses is an extremely attractive way to build wealth, right? I think trade businesses are incredibly valuable. Buying out a plumber and buying into their book of business and putting them on a salary and hiring others to support them, and streamlining business activities, things that single trade operations are not typically good at, like, can be an enormous way to build wealth and grow wealth and make lots of money. I think those things are great, but let's do both. Let's own real estate too.
Yeah.
Like own the real estate that you occupy,
Yeah.
right? Don't pay someone else an exorbitant amount of rent. Go invest in contractor garages and occupy a few of them, like we've discussed on this podcast before, and acquire small trade businesses. Like, if that's what you want to do, then great, but own real estate too.
Yeah.
And residential real estate is great, because of the steadiness of demand. So something I think you were headed to a minute ago when we were discussing one of the other ones was, what are rents doing?
Yeah.
Well, if pressure on rents is up because demand is down, demand is supposedly down, and pressure on rents is up, well, that's even more of a reason to own real estate.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to hold this because there's just too much unsaid here.